Okay, everyone, sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulties getting started, but I am here. And I want to say, first of all, welcome. If you haven't been here before, a lot of times I even have my hair dried. Today's a different day. For those of you who are celebrating Christmas or Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve or Happy Christmas Eve. For those of you who are celebrating Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. And for those of you who are not celebrating anything right now, thank you so much for your grace and patience with everybody who is. I know this time of year can be a challenging time of year to a lot of people. And I just want to say that especially to those folks, we are thinking of you. I am thinking of you and really grateful that you have decided to join me here live or are watching at a time that's better for you. All right. So what I wanted to do today is take you through an approach that I started working on when I became a dietitian, shortly after I became a dietitian, a little over 20 years ago, really grounded in helping my clients get better outcomes. Now, we have so much knowledge as practitioners. If you're a fitness professional, mental health professional, whatever kind of professional you are, you've gone to school, you also have practiced likely, whether you've worked with one person or several people. And through that, you've gathered a lot of information and you can help you know that you can help certain people, a lot of people on their path to reaching their health goals. But what I learned really early on was my knowledge wasn't actually going to cut it. And that isn't something that they ever teach us in school. And in fact, it wasn't even something that they taught me during my internship or during times, during other times. And yes, I'm here if you want to leave questions or comments. Thank you for reminding me that. Please do. This is definitely designed to be interactive, or if you want to just tell me where you're joining from, I appreciate that too. One other thing, sometimes I don't see who it is that's commenting, so if you just want to mention your name, that's super helpful. So going back to what I learned in school was that I didn't learn what I need to know in school. And one of the really big reasons was that early on in my career, I was working with individuals on weight management, so weight loss, better body composition, helping them with their blood sugar, helping that, so prediabetes, diabetes, gestational diabetes, cardiovascular health, and digestive health. And so when I was working in these different areas, what I would find is a lot of my clients came in and it was just a laundry list of all the things that they know that they should be doing that they aren't doing, or said differently, they're doing things badly, or they know that they would get better results if they could just do these things, or, and it was all these things of and I couldn't quite figure out what it was until I started exploring and learning about a successful mindset. And when you realize that really what separates somebody who is successful from not being successful is just that adjective, they are successful. It is a self-perception that you're successful and knowing and having examples that you are successful. So the difference is that I realized is that a lot of my clients, a lot of patients were coming in feeling like failures. Now, first and foremost, especially because I was working in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and Malibu, I was dealing with a lot of people who perceived themselves as successful in a lot of other areas of their lives. And so it was almost amplified. Wow, if I'm really successful in these other areas, I'm a big time failure here. It was almost like a badge of failureism, like this is where I'm failing or this is the thing I fail at. And so I started to explore just how detrimental that failure mindset is. We probably know it if we ever feel like we're failing in our business, if we feel like, or we're just not successful in our business. It's really interesting how the opposite of not feeling successful is failure, right? And it doesn't need to be. It could just be I'm not successful or I'm not successful yet. It doesn't need to be that I'm a failure. But what I found with my clients on the health front was that they were consistently identifying with a failure mindset. And they could tell me, it was very easy to recount, here are all the times I've dieted and I failed. And remember, it was I failed. It's not, and this is an important distinction. It wasn't I failed. It wasn't that the diet had failed me or that the program that I went on failed me or that all those supplements that somebody put me on and they just told me to do and I would get better, that failed me. But it was rather myself as a failure. And so when I started to explore that failure mindset, I realized that all of any knowledge, all the knowledge. And, at that time I didn't have that. Like I had a lot of school knowledge, but I didn't have that much practice knowledge. Even 20 years later, I have a lot of practice knowledge now. And what I realized is all of that doesn't matter. It doesn't work better for my clients if I can't help them overcome this failure mindset. So what it really comes back to is how can you inspire hope? How can you help people understand how to feel hopeful and give them a roadmap where they can start to experience success and consistently experience success, and also when they have setbacks or moments of not having success, that they don't go back to a mindset of I am a failure. And that's what I wanted to walk you through today. I don't know if any of this resonates with any of you. You can always give me a thumbs up or a clap. I'm taking the advice of one of you and really trying to slow it down here. She was like, Ashley, slow down. I always just feel so grateful that you've given me any time, and I want to make the most of your time, but I also understand that even uncaffeinated, I can just rip at it and go really quickly. So one of the things that helps me slow down is if you have questions or if you let me know that things resonate, that I'm not just chatting on that part. But what I thought I would do today is actually what I've put into the Better Nutrition Plan and put this together a few years back because I was getting a lot of requests to do events and help people and also help practitioners help their clients become more successful, get those better outcomes. And a lot of times people would say to me, oh, can you come tell us like what you do for weight loss? Or can you come tell us what you do for digestive health? And I'd come back to this and I'm like, oh, I work on their mindset. Like that's it. And I hope as dietetics evolves and as, and I'm seeing it more, like when I'm at the IDEA conference, if anyone's going to be at Personal Training Institute, I'll be there in March, Integrative Healthcare Symposium, I'll be there as well in February. I'm seeing at these conferences more of more sessions around, how do we motivate and inspire? And motivation and inspiration is great, but really the mindset really has to come from this part of like habit training and understanding how to create healthier habits. And so when I started doing the research into this, I learned a few things. One thing I learned is that just like the example that we get from cholesterol, it's not healthier for us to to remove all fats from the diet. It's actually healthier for us to swap less good fats for better fats. And that's the example that I would like to share with you when it comes to habits, that when you are helping somebody, it's going to be better for them to upgrade something that they're doing and really identify what they're already doing and figure out what that upgrade is. So one of the things that doesn't work is telling somebody to stop or let's just stop doing that. Sometimes it works, with something like smoking, or especially if there's a motivation like gluten, like you found out you're celiac, stop having gluten, but you still need to help them understand to be successful at stop having gluten. You have to help them understand how to make better choices, right? And what those choices are, but really how to make them. So I thought I'd walk through this program with you now and share it with you. It's available for you at the Better Nutrition Program. You get it if you get your shop of tools. You get a digital version of this and the journal included as a bonus. You also can get these as part of any of your packages. So if you're interested in joining like the Sugar Shakedown and you get the package of tools associated with that, then the Sweet Success package, then you will get those as well. And yes, I will show you those really quickly. So I'll show you what I mean by that part. So remember, if you have comments here or questions, go ahead and share them. Just because you don't see my face, you'll still get my info. Okay, so let's pop up over here. And if you're looking for this item, you'd come to our shop, you would look here. So if you purchase the shop of tools, it will be included in there along with the other about 100 tools and a bunch of other bonuses for you, including a session with me, also 2 years worth of upgrades and a bunch of other value adds, including being able to invite up to 5 clients for free for each of our programs that we're now doing, at least one on a quarterly basis. Where I was mentioning in the packages is we have all these different packages of tools. If you don't want to purchase the shop of tools and you want to get started with a package of tools, and right now, starting in January, we have the Sugar Shakedown, which I will be running from January 8th for 30 days. And practitioners trainers are welcome to join me and actually coach their clients through it. So you can have your clients participate in here, or you can run them in a separate group if you want. And then this program will be yours to run. So it's a ready-made program that you can run as many times in the next year or coming years as you would like. And you would just purchase the Sweet Success tools and use that. And you will see in here, it's included the Better Nutrition Plan. So what we're going to go over today is also included. We also have access where you can just get, if I'm just getting started and I just want to use what Ashley went over today for right here for $9.99. And actually, if you use the code Facebook20, you'll save 20% off that part and you can get the digital plan. Now, some of you have asked, you love this and you love that you see me with the plan, which I'll show you in a moment. You can get hard copies. You also can get your logo if you want to work with me to have them printed for you. You can get your logo here and we can discuss. It's by me, so I like to maintain that licensing in there, but I'm happy to have your logo and your information on here. That's different than the Better Nutrition Program Journal, which you can just add your logo to and share your contact information on as well. So just to regroup on that part, I was mentioning the hard copy of the Better Nutrition Plan, and that's what we're going to go through right now. Talking about mindset, how to help somebody start with a successful mindset. So let's go there. Okay. So in my opinion, when you start anything like this, what we want to look at doing is we really want to start off in the space of helping somebody get on the same page as you in terms of the way that they're thinking, but also the same wording, right? The lexicon of Better Nutrition. So that's going to be one of the pieces here. So I just explained a little bit about what Better Nutrition is and how it's going to help you. And then I love to start here. Here's a great exercise for us to remind everyone that there is no perfect nutrition, no diet, no perfect health. It's just better nutrition. I also go one step further with my clients, and I actually have them in there, sit there, and we do this. They don't have to they don't have to sit in a yoga position, etc. But I make them say 5 times over, and we get some laughter in this as it goes along. I am successful. And then we even might go to, I am successful in my health. And we keep coming back and repeating that phrase. And that is something that I ask them to, put it on their phone and we'll revisit, because in order to create a successful mindset, we really actually have to start saying it to ourselves and believing in it. And by the way, I love her purple shoes. In case you haven't guessed, my favorite color is purple, but then I also love to combo it with this teal. All right, there are 9 betters of better nutrition. I go through this if I'm leading this as a workshop, and that's something I highly recommend you considering doing either as a lead magnet for your business or actually running this as an online program or workshop, and you can go through that piece. These are really the things that we know. Obviously 10 would be too perfect, right? And so, these are the things that we know to be true. Better be delicious, better not perfect more often. Better be based on your body today, not your body when you were 20, etc. Better be plant-based, better be within your budget. And we'll go over these last 4 as we go through the nutrition piece. So most importantly, what we want to do is not have somebody decide where they're at or even share with you where they're at. They may do that in their intake form, but you really want to be able to come in objective, and then the magic happens. You want to be able to show them what they're already doing better. So what I typically do, as you guys know, I usually do my intake form just to get my HIPAA information and collect all the information I need. I like to find out how, what makes them laugh and a couple other things. And then I have them fill out 3 pages of the Better Nutrition Journal. Again, if you buy the shop of tools or if you have a package of tools, you will have this journal in there as well. And you can see that this journal goes over not just what did you have to eat and drink. I want to know how you woke up in the morning feeling, right? So they go ahead and they enter that there. What are you eating and drinking throughout the day? So we've got a bunch of pit stops in here. I'm not calling them meals or snacks, because a lot of times somebody's hang up might be like, I don't eat breakfast. Well, you break your fast at some point. I just want to know what's in that first pit stop, right? And so it doesn't allow them to feel good or bad or a success or failure around the breakfast concept. I also like to know what they're taking in terms of supplements. And then I like to know how they feel about their activity, right? And again, this isn't about being successful or not. It's not about how much did I hit or didn't hit. It's just what was my perception of it. And I have them go through 3 different types of days. And not so typical day. So this might be, for some people, it might be weekday, weekend. For some people, it might be an at-home, an in-office day. This could be a travel day. And then, of course, the play day. I'm hoping that I don't have to describe what a play day is, but you'd be surprised how many people I have to work on a play day. And notice it doesn't say a day off or a binge day or a cheat day or any of that stuff. It's a play day. Emphasis on play. We've got to remember to have some fun and to make sure that we laughed. All right. So what we want to focus here, and this is really the mind shift part, is that there's a lot of information about nutrition. So what I'm going to do with my client is when I get this from them originally, let's come up here. Let's just hypothetically say, I could type it in, but I'm not going to take that time right now. This morning, let's say that they had overnight oats and they put berries in their overnight oats. Maybe it was made with almond milk, really like delicious breakfast. It had some cacao in there. And they also had coffee with almond milk and they did a great job there. So one of the things and then their second pit stop might have been maybe the middle of the morning, they had a cheese stick and a piece of fruit. I'm totally making this up. And the third pit stop, so the point is, if they're filling out these pit stops, then one of the things that I'm going to focus on, one of the betters that's going to come up is I'm going to be like, wow, you're nailing it. You're doing better on frequency, right? Yay, you. Like, what is it that motivates you and is helping you remember to do these, and actually not just helping you remember, but helping you choose to do these pit stops at different times, about how much time is between those pit stops, right? Now, in the example that I gave about breakfast, maybe there's no protein in there. So maybe what I'm going to find out is that they're not doing that much better on nutrient balance. But just think of the mindset difference and think how someone's going to feel as if I start off with, oh my gosh, you're slaying it on frequency. How do you remember to do that? What motivates you to eat more often? What motivates you? Are you bringing stuff from home? Are you taking breaks? Like, how are you, going throughout the day? Versus if I came in and I was like, like a teacher, like X here, you need protein. I think you should have eggs here. Or, oh, you did a good job with protein and an apple here. But you know what? I feel like cheese probably isn't good for you. We should have you off of dairy. So why don't you try almond butter? Like, done, right? So that's what's happening in diet books and in programs. They're telling everybody what to do and just take away what you're currently doing. And these are the things that you need to be doing. And they're not working A, on mindset, and B, starting with where somebody already is. And we know that we need to do both of those things to get better results. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to evaluate in this part, and I'm going to figure out what are the things that they're already doing better. Now, some of the betters that I might already focus on, and we'll get to this in a bit, are super basic. But as I'm evaluating it and when I go through it with them, I'm also going to make sure that before I'm sharing with them what I think, why I'm judging something as better or not, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what better nutrition is and isn't. And so I really believe it has 4 pillars: quantity, quality, nutrient balance, and frequency. And I go through that there with some additional comments around alcohol, sugar, water, etc. And then I actually share this information with them. This is great for you to have this information in a spot. And it just goes through just basic. It's not a good or a bad. It's just these are carbs. Some carbs are carbs and proteins. Some proteins are proteins and fats. Some fats are just fats. There are non-starchy vegetables, which don't belong in any of those groups, even though, yeah, there's some carbs in here. But unless you're keto and you're counting like how many grams of broccoli you're having or how many grams of carb are in the broccoli, and I have my own bias on that, we really need to be looking at these for their just overall value as getting in the rainbow and what they provide from a plant nutrient standpoint. And then also the roles of herbs and spices in there as well as how they can help us reach that rainbow. So what we'll do is I'll explain that part, or I'll share that with them. Now, I might go to the step 4 and then come back to this one. So remember, better, not perfect. You can go in whatever order you choose. And what we really want to do on this front is focus. Here is the money shot. Here's where the magic happens. What you want to do, and this is going to be hard for your clients. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come in and they're just like, ooh, I just can't do this exercise. All right, well, we're not going to move forward on anything until you help me understand what is working. And so we actually dedicate a whole page here to what is working. Now, I mentioned before, we might type in here better frequency. I might lead them with that. And then they're stuck. Well, I don't know. And then I'll say, well, for example, do you remember to drink water. Now, you might not be drinking this big puppy because somebody didn't send it to you. It's amazing and it's purple. But you might be drinking a glass of water. Yeah, but I might not get in 8 glasses of water. I don't care. I just ask what's better. It's better if you were drinking a glass of water than not drinking a glass of water. Did you drink a glass of water today? Yes, I drank a glass of water. Great. That's working. Let's list that there. Did you brush your teeth? Why are you asking about, did I brush my teeth? Well, your oral health is part of your microbiome. So did you know that when you're brushing your teeth, you're actually taking care of your microbiome? So, whether you're taking probiotics, prebiotics, glutamine, like any of this other stuff, did you brush your teeth? Yeah. So that's part of your better health. Did you make it here for your appointment? That's a huge, there's so many things that you could have done with your hour. Like, you're connecting with me here, you did that. And so on. And so we'll go in here and we'll identify what's working. I cannot tell you the difference that I will tell you. I'm here to tell you the difference that this makes. This is epic because you are going to see the struggle that somebody has to actually identify what is working. It's uncanny to see how our minds work. For whatever reason, we just all want to skip right here. What needs attention? Oh my gosh, can I get 5 extra pages to write? Ashley, you only give me half of a page here. Oh, how could I act better? Oh, I could do this. I could call my mom. I could remember to do this. I could water the plants. I could get outside. I could do lists and lists and lists of all the things that need attention and that could be better. And yet, I can't even put 5 things here. That is what has to change. And I will tell you, this applies to our businesses. This applies to, our lives, right? But when we're in the healthcare space, this is where we have to be. If we're in the fitness space, this is absolutely where we have to be. If somebody is in there at the gym and they're killing it or they're doing this workout, but they came to you for better body composition, you're not going to get anywhere with them until you figure out what's working, why, and then apply that to what else needs to be better. And I'm going to get to what else needs to be better in a second because it's really important for us to understand how to work on that part. So just before I move on, any questions about noting what's working and really figuring out what's working? This, you guys, guys and gals, peeps, this is the money shot. This is what you have to work with your clients on. I could say it 1,000 times over. It's why this is really my favorite tool because, first of all, it's such an easy program to do. You could do this. Really, your training could be, you could literally just be starting out. Day 1 as a dietitian, I so wish that I had this as a nutrition, as a health coach. If you're a doctor, someone in your office could be doing this, and then your patient could come see you, and they could be reporting in on that part. So there's a ton of collaboration that could be happening and getting to this what's better. Now, we do want to, the way that we get better is not by being perfect. We learn to act better, not perfect, more often. And so what we want to do is we want to identify about, I say on here, 5 choices, but we're not going to work on 5 choices. We're going to try to get this list down to 5 choices. So what I often do is I let them vomit here. This is the place where I'll provide extra pages. I'll let them go on. And then we'll take our breath and we'll go through our breathing again. And so we'll go back to that exercise in the beginning and just remember that there's no perfect person. Even if they think there's a perfect person, we'll go through why they think that person is perfect. Oftentimes I'll give them examples of celebrity clients who everybody might think is perfect. And then I'll just go on why they aren't perfect, not disclosing any inappropriate secrets or, breaking any HIPAA privacy or any of that stuff. But we got to remember, we just make other people perfect. In fact, one of my favorite courses called Understanding Men, I needed that. The daughter of, I have 2 brothers and trying to understand my dad and all the men in the world out there, right? And one of the things I love that Alison Armstrong said in there is not only do us women hold ourselves to the standard of being a perfect woman, we also often hold men to the standard, especially our partners or our wannabe partners, to the standard of being perfect as well, but perfect women. We want them to be just like what we think would be perfect, right? So we got to learn, we got to break up with this perfect. Oh, such a disaster. And so in here we figure out what needs attention. So if someone's not getting in any protein, right? Or maybe they're much lower on protein. Maybe we've done their protein evaluation or their magnesium evaluation, et cetera, and we know that something needs attention. This is a good place to put it. But this is also a great place to be putting things like, which we'll find out in things like the digestive evaluation, I'm not sleeping well, I'm stressed, right? Or or maybe we find out from the men's health evaluation, I'm depressed, or I feel isolated or alone, like different things on that part. And when we find those out, that's important for us to put here, because as practitioners, what we can learn and what needs attention is often people will be very, very specific. And what we need to do is we want to look at the map, if you will, all the different items, and put them together and understand where the biggest opportunity is going to come from. So what I mean by that is, if I'm not having protein at lunch or breakfast and I'm grabbing a coffee and a donut, maybe I need to go back to that morning and realize I woke up exhausted. Maybe the kid didn't sleep through the night. Maybe my husband was up late, doing on his computer in bed. Like maybe I just didn't feel well. Maybe I have hot flashes, whatever it is. But if I'm not sleeping well and I wake up fatigued, then I'm more likely to be craving carbohydrates, and just telling me to go easier on the coffee or to grab some protein, that's not going to be a win. Working on my sleep is going to be a win, right? And so working on my sleep actually requires us looking at what happened the day before. Going to bed, did I have a whole bunch of carbohydrates late in the evening and then my system was crashing? Or the day before, did I have a bunch of caffeine? Or, do I need some nutrients like magnesium in the evening to help my body turn off the stress response? Do I need to get on a foam roller? Do I need to find a journal to write down things to reduce my stress? What do I need to do there? Well, and if I can help you work on that, then that's going to help me make it a lot easier for us to make better breakfast choices, right? So it's really about looking, for us as the practitioner, looking here, and they're going to tell us a story here about what the biggest opportunity for them to be immediately successful will be. And that's what you need to pick. You've got to find that thing, right? That, what did somebody say? It was a wildly inspired goal, most wildly important goal, right? Not just an important goal, because all of our goals here, all the things we want to work on are important, but the wildly one, the one that if we help them do, they're going to be successful, because that's what changes mindset. That's what makes them a successful person. And successful people, by definition, and also by research studies, tend to behave successfully more often. So they're setting themselves up for success. They're embracing successful behaviors. They're making more successful choices. And that's what we want to do from a mindset standpoint here. So what I thought I'd do right now is just go over a couple of examples. I also want to pause in case anybody has a question. And yes, again, this is available for you. If you purchase this digital copy once, so it's $9.99, you can purchase it once, and you can use it in an unlimited capacity. You just share it out with each of your clients and have them save, like I saved the date up here, just have them save it with their name and date, because you might want to have them reuse it, or you can have them use the journal, which partners with this, which most of the time I suggest getting the two of those together. And yes, you can also get hard copies. So I think I answered the other questions as well already. Okay, so for example, somebody might feel like a failure because they feel like they're not getting in 8 glasses of water most days. Then we want to get into tactical. If we believe that actually getting in more water, maybe it's 8 glasses, I think actually the real answer here would be, let's do your water evaluation and figure out, is 8 glasses actually the right answer for you? And is it about getting in those 8 glasses at once, or is it about that I need to space them out throughout the day? That's going to be more successful. Hint, hint, you'll learn that from the water evaluation. But we want to figure out how we help them reach their better water number, right? So one of the things we learned is this person does brush their teeth. So maybe we leave a glass of water the water already in the glass by the toothbrush. So in the morning, that's happening. We also learned that she has coffee in the morning. Let's leave a glass of water right by the coffee machine and just say, hey, drink the glass of water before you have your coffee, and that's the bonus. Like your coffee's the win, right? And you get to have it, or while you're making your coffee, drink that glass of water. What about having a glass of water somewhere else where you're likely to do something? If you have water in your car, you're more likely to drink it. Now, I'm a big fan of not having plastic water bottles in general, but also plastic bottles in the car. And if you're using other water bottles, it's just important to remember a couple of times in the month to try to wash them out and just clean them up, especially if you're putting anything into the water. That's the other part. So that's another thing. Maybe one of the reasons you're not getting water in at another point is maybe you would prefer it with something in, some flava. So, I have like my favorite branched chain amino acids. Are they doing good for when you're heavy lifting? I kind of think so. But even if they're not, they're helping you get through your water when you're heavy lifting, right? So as long as there's no negative side to them, that could be something that we could be consuming. And then everybody loves to count their tea or coffee, and they get so excited that we can count that in there. So that's how we focus on being very specific and looking at things that they're already doing that are better, and then building on those better. Remember, the flaw in so many diets and programs is they just go in and tell somebody what they should be doing. And they certainly don't look at which is going to be now your magic, your sweet spot, what you're already doing better, and make that the foundation that we will not corrupt. We will not create a new habit or invite in something new that has you break up with something that you're already doing better. That's not a win. That's just changing out, right? We want to add. We're looking at building the pyramid, adding on top, getting further along. And so what we have to look at is this going to, this new habit, this upgrade, this thing that I'm adding, is it going to, what can I use that I already do better in order to add it on? So it's really like phoning a friend or making a circle, grabbing a hand and adding those on. And sometimes it takes us a couple of different angles to figure out how to make it better. Like, is it I need to order my groceries or my supplements online? Is it that I need to get food delivery for a little while? Is it that I need to, talk to the people at work about what we've got in the break room? Is it that I need, we're going to have to figure out different things, but we can certainly look at that part. Okay. So another example is I want more plant-based options, but I'm having too many carbohydrates, right? It's super easy mindset to talk about all the things that I'm doing bad. Too many carbs. Well, remember, there's an option to look at carbs that are carbs and protein as a way to get in more. And then also to look at the ones that are in the protein fat column. You may discover that hemp seeds, for example, are a great option, and that they provide no more carbohydrate. It was one of my favorite things to find out. So I love butternut squash soup, for example. So I can put hemp seeds on top of there instead of putting croutons, and I get more plant benefits, but I'm also getting in the omegas, the proteins, etc., and not overdoing it on the carbohydrate. I love my coffee with milk, but I'm overdoing it with my carbs at breakfast. So there are different options here. You could turn around, and this could also be oat milk, right? I love my coffee with oat milk, but I'm also having, let's say I'm having overnight oats for breakfast and I don't want to have too much carbohydrate there. So I could move to an unsweetened almond milk to lower my carbs. But I could also decide to have my coffee with oat milk, if I love it, as a second pit stop, maybe with a handful of nuts and seeds, and have had my breakfast. Maybe my breakfast would have been those overnight oats for breakfast. Or if I wanted my coffee with oat milk, maybe I'm going to have eggs for breakfast. So there are just different ways that we can look about it. And you'll notice in that whole space that we kept everything that they're doing, and then we're just building on what's better in that point. Another one that comes up a lot is like our hummus a carb, right? And so I thought it was a protein. And so how do I get that in? Well, what's great about it is you're already choosing hummus. Good for you. So we want you to keep having hummus. We don't want to say get rid of the hummus. We just want to say, hey, instead of hummus with crackers, or instead of hummus on a sandwich or on a pita, let's look at all those great vegetables that we could have, and especially those non-starchy vegetables that we could incorporate it in there. What about having a glass of wine? Oh, of course you can have a glass of wine. The question mark, of course, most people can, but the question mark, many people, I shouldn't say most, many people, the question mark is when are you going to have it, and what choices are you going to make there? So we've got a bunch of different examples for you. I've got more, like I'm bored with my salad. We go through all of those. And then we've got the help for you, of course, popping over to the Better Nutrition program as well. So that's what I got for you in terms of this puppy, which is short, affordable. It's $9.99. Remember, if you want to get these printed and you want to actually use them with your clients and sell them yourself, you can do that. That's different than our other tools. We don't let you sell our other tools, but if you want to get this or the Better Nutrition Journal printed out and sell it, just reach out to us at team@thebetternutritionprogram.com. And I really hope as we go into 2020 that one of the areas that you, the better nutrition expert, the health expert, focus on is helping somebody figure out and work on that mindset, figure out how to have a successful mindset, because that is what will keep them from making resolutions that they don't keep or can't keep, because that failure, I guess it's like the failure, like we've got the success here and the failure here, and they fight each other. And that failure one is strong. And I think that's it was so powerful for me to learn. I remember having a mom come in and she was just in tears, and she's like, I'm the worst role model for my kids. And we just had to start and say, like, she was just felt like because she was overweight that she was a bad role model for her kids. And I said, you know what? You're an incredible role model. You're showing them how hard all of this is and how you're trying to learn it right now and make different choices. And we ended up engaging everybody in helping her make better choices. And it became this learning thing that they were doing together. And it also became a really good opportunity to talk about feeling like a success or feeling like a failure and why, how to build habits and all that stuff. I think I shared this with many of you, but I had a doctor as a client. I've had many doctors as clients. And he was sharing with me how he feels like a fraud, total imposter syndrome. He's in there with his clients all the day talking about how important nutrition and, eating right and all of that is. And he hasn't, quote unquote, mastered it. And I was like, hey, first of all, you don't get to master it and move on. But second of all, you're not a fraud. You actually can so identify with what your clients, what your patients are dealing with. And what we need to do is we need to help everybody figure out how to abandon that failure mindset and really start to look at what they're already doing better. And so with him, we really started at a very base level, turning around and saying, hey, like, I actually, instead of working all day, I stopped and I ate a handful of nuts. Or instead of just grabbing the soda or instead of grabbing the chips when I walked in the door, I had available different chips when I walked in the door and I ate those, those kinds of things. And so we started to really look at how he could tick off the marker of being a success in his health more often. And here's someone who felt so successful. He was super, super successful in so many other areas of his life. So the key takeaway for today is that having the right information is super important. And I'm really grateful, and excited for all of you who are studying and learning and have learned and also practice and so much and how to help people. But until we master helping somebody have a successful mindset and feeling like a success, which begins with working with them to identify what they're already doing better, and especially in our space, what they're already doing better from a nutrition standpoint and better for their health, we can't get them there. There's just too much failure mindset right now in health. And that's why we consistently see failure, right? If we had success happening, we would consistently see success. And the numbers are not lying. They're really scary. And so the great part about it for you from a business standpoint is this is a massive opportunity. So I want to, just remind you that with the Better Nutrition Plan, you've got all of my information in there. You now have it here. I've walked you through it. I will do that again. And I'm happy to answer questions. If I went through something and it didn't resonate or you had more questions about how that would work, drop it in the comment box. And especially if you're watching this at a better time for you, because I'm really committed to helping you help your clients shift to successful mindsets built based on starting with their better nutrition foundation. What are they already doing better? And then protecting their betters, making sure that whatever we're adding is not going to compromise an existing better. It's only going to be adding on top of it so they get more betters more often. All right, everyone. I'll close with how I started. That is just such gratitude for everyone who is not celebrating a holiday right now and is just enjoying how excited others are about their holidays. And of course, happy holidays to anyone who's celebrating, whether it's Christmas Eve or Hanukkah, etc. And then I would love to thank you, my dear. I'd also just invite you, if you will, to close with me. I work on my mindset all the time. And so I love to just end with my 5 successes. So I am successful. 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 Then I usually roll into I am successful in my health. I am successful in my health, or maybe with my health. My English teacher mother would see I'm already criticizing. Stop, Ashley. I am successful with my health. 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 And I am imperfect because I did not plan my time right today to have my hair dried for all of you, but who cares? Anyway, I hope everybody has great holidays and I hope you embrace the success in 2020. And I am here to help you yourself and to help others be more successful this year, or own your success this year. It's not about being more successful. Own your successes this year, so that we can all help others get and keep their better health, have those better outcomes. All right, everybody, have a good one. Take care.